Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this short Facebook Live this Friday lunchtime. And today I want to talk to you about the 80-20 rule and how it affects every area of your profitability. Now, I'm running this live on the back of the poll I did a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, I talked about what areas you'd most like to learn about to be improving your business finances. And the top vote by far was improving profitability. So I'm going to be doing quite a few things around that in the next few weeks, starting today with this 80-20 discussion, because it really has the most incredible power to focus on the things that actually drive the profitability and the cash and the value in our businesses versus the stuff that we kind of get busy with every day. So usual rules apply. Please let me know if you're here. Put a note in the comments. Give the post a like, and if you're watching later, hashtag replay just so I know you've seen it. It's really helpful to know who's watching. Okay, so let's kick off. Let's talk about how the 80-20 rule is affecting every area of your profitability. So just in case you don't know, the 80-20 rule gets talked about a lot, but it's actually also known as the Pareto rule. And there's a guy from like 100 years ago, gazillion years ago, who worked out that 80% of the wealth was actually concentrated amongst 20% of the population. So it's quite an interesting observation he made. And that the vital few, so there's vital few 20% actually controlled the economy versus the trivial many, which was the 80% of people who had 20% of the wealth. And what he found on the back of that as well, following many, many studies, was that virtually all economic activity is actually subject to this principle, which is incredibly useful for us as business owners to know. Afternoon, whoever you are. Sorry, I can't see your name on StreamYard. Just refresh my Facebook feed and see who you are. I can't see it live yet. Okay, so yes, he realized that all economic activity is subject to this 80-20 rule. And when you think about it in context of your business, you'll be able to see just how it applies and how you can use that rule in a really simple way to actually transform the finances, profitability, cash flow, value of your business. Now, the principle of the rule, therefore, is that 20% of your activity, be it in any part of your business, will be controlling or causing 80% of your results. To say that again to sink in, 20% of what you do will equate to 80% of your results. Now, clearly that can vary. It's not always as strict as 80-20. It can be 70-30. It could be 80-40. It could be 60-40. But the principle is that the relatively few things that you do will drive the biggest results. And I think we can probably all identify with the fact that a lot of the time we spend time on trivial to-do lists that don't actually add any value to our business. So that's the principle. I'm going to talk you through the areas it will apply to. So research has also been done that shows that the 85% of the wealthiest people on the planet have a common trait. They focus all of their time and energy on one big goal until they've achieved it, which is quite a big difference to what I think a lot of us do, which is where we've got very scattered attention and focus, and we haven't really identified that one big role yet that we spend all of our time focusing on. Because what these people don't do is they don't flit around between social media and emails and meetings and having lots of different projects and goals and competing priorities, calling it multitasking, think they're doing something amazing. They have this really ruthless single focus on the most important thing that they know will generate 80% of their results. And you can probably identify with this. As business owners, we are so often juggling far too many things, aren't we? There are just too many plates that we're spinning, too many balls that we're juggling, too many emails, too many meetings, too much of everything. And it can feel like we spend all of our time in what I call confetti time, these slithers of time that don't allow us to get that really deep focus on the most important few things. And I see so many companies who kind of repeat the same year again and again and again and again with similar revenue, with the same problems, the same challenges, the same non-performing people, the same unprofitable products and customers, because they never have the time to focus on those few things that will make that magic difference. Now, this 80-20 principle really sits at the heart of the approach that I teach. If you've been in the group for a while, you'll have heard me talk a lot about vivid vision. Now, vivid vision is where you've created the plan for your business and your life, the 3-year plan, which is 12 quarters, not a long time, of exactly, precisely, vividly where you want your business to be, how much profit you want to make, how much money you want to earn. And then it's about using the principle of deep work, which I also talk about an awful lot, using that principle to achieve your vivid vision. So very purposefully focusing on that 20% of activity that will generate the 80% result that you're looking for. And then having a laser focus on what you want to achieve and committing the vast majority of your time to that one single goal. So where else can we apply this 80-20 rule to then? So the revenue and profit that you make from your customers is a really big one. Now, this is something I'm going to talk to you more about next week because it deserves a little live all of its own. It's quite a meaty topic. But when you actually look at your customer list and you see how few customers bring in most of your revenue, it really focuses the mind. And I do this with all of my one-to-one clients. Every month we look at the customer base, we look at the 80-20 analysis, and we just see where the profit and where the revenue is coming from. And that is a very, very quick one in terms of being able to transform the profitability of your business. The tasks on your to-do list are another absolute classic of where you've got, without question, 80% of crap lurking in your to-do list and project list that you probably know isn't going to move the needle. It's not stuff that is going to actually transform your business. And yet we sit there and we plow through our to-do list every day. I'm going to talk more about that in a couple of minutes. The effort that you make in your business, what's taking the biggest toll on you? What is draining you? Where do you spend your focus and the most of your energy in the day on? Is it spent on the big things that move you forward, or is it diluted and is it used up juggling the inbox and the social media and all those bits and bobs that individually don't make much of a difference? Profitability of your products is another really big one. So your products and services, truly understanding how profitable they are. Now, this is something that very few businesses get to look at. And I think it's partly because of that time and focus issue. But imagine what we're all doing, so many people are doing, is spending years and years and years churning out product services without even knowing if they're profitable because they haven't done the analysis. It's insane when you think about it that way, but it's a reality for almost every business I come across. Marketing spend and effort, I think, is another really, really great area for us to apply the 80-20 rule to. Because, how many of us are spending time and money on marketing activities and we don't, if we're honest, know if they're working? We spend money on activities, we spend money maybe on marketing people or an agency, on advertising, on promotion, on exhibitions, and we don't really know if they're working. So this is a huge area where getting to grips with what is most likely to make the most difference for your business and really focusing that time and energy and effort into those few 20% things that will make the big difference. Things like if you get leads into your business, it's very likely that most of your leads come from a few key referrers, people who love you, who talk about you, who refer you to their clients. And it's the same also. You may be spending a lot of time and energy networking and keeping up with lots of people, having loads of coffee dates and lunches, or, in the real world, we would have been doing that. Instead of maybe nurturing, honing in and nurturing those very few people who really love you and refer you already. And the ideas that you have, I can identify with this one, have so many ideas, and you're just scribbling down idea after idea. And you can end up really scattered across all those ideas and not really focusing on, what are the ones, what are the things that if I really honed in on this will make the most difference. Another one I can think of actually is training. A lot of business owners, anything like me, you are absolute magpie for training. And you keep taking on more and more training, doing more and more things. Oh, that looks interesting. Oh, that looks really cool. Oh, I'd love to know about that. And before you know, you've stacked yourself out with all these books to read, podcasts to listen to, trainings that you've signed up for, without thinking, is this one actually critical to my business? Is this the one that is going to give me a breakthrough? Rather than just like, oh, that's really interesting. And it may be really interesting, but is it the thing that deserves your attention and focus that's going to give you a breakthrough and move your business forward? Then think about your team. If you employ people, maybe you have freelance, or maybe it is just you, but if you do have a team, where does their time and effort go to? If you were to add up all of the hours a month that your team spend working in your business, how many of those hours were spent on those vital few critically important tasks? How much time went on unimportant the 80% of the crap that doesn't make any difference. I think you'd be really surprised if you looked at it. And the hours and the effort of those people, I think, is one of the biggest costs in a company, and one of the biggest opportunities we have to really turn things around and start to get that focus in on the most profitable areas. So it's really about identifying and focusing on the most important 20%. Now, that I appreciate is easier said than done. And it's going to take some of this stuff I call deep work to figure it out. But what I would like you to take away from this live is that step back from just being busy doing whatever is on your list, doing whatever you think you should do next, and start to plant in your mind the seed of, is this in the 20%? Is this one of the vital few activities I can justify spending my time on today? Today, this week, next month. Is this going to improve my business? Or am I just chonking through my to-do list, feeling really good about myself because I'm ticking stuff off? So let's think about your task list. I think that's a really easy, low-hanging fruit area for us to focus on initially. And I think focusing on this one will really help to free up time and focus for other areas. So let's look at your task list. I want you to bear in mind here that 2 out of every tasks are worth as much as the other 8 put together, give or take. 7 and 3, 8 or 2. But if you've got a list of 10 things, 2 of those tasks are in the vital few. The other 8 make up 20% of your results. And it'd be interesting to go and test this out, because this rule applies pretty much in any given situation. But here's the problem. Most people spend most of their time procrastinating about the 2 important jobs and then busy themselves with the other 8 because they're easier. By definition, the difficult tasks, the tasks that move us forward, are more challenging. They require more thought. If we've only got half an hour to dash something off, we're not going to get to focus on that critical few 20% of things. So looking at your task list, it's easy to go like, well, I can tick that off, I can tick that off, I can tick that off. And hey, don't I feel good about myself because I've ticked a load of stuff off my list. But did you work on the most important stuff? So I want to lay down a challenge for you. It's a simple challenge, and if you are serious about improving the profit in your business, I hope you'll take it up. It's not an onerous challenge. I'm not going to demand that you you start declaring what you've done, but I would like you to comment below and just say, what areas of your business do you think you might be leaking profit in through this 80-20 rule? Is it too many products, too many customers, or too many projects on the go? But then I would like you to very particularly have a look at your task list or your project list or everything that is on your list of stuff you've got to do, and just firmly decide what is in the critical few 20% and what actually sits in the 80%. I'll give you a little tip. When you go through, you're going to think that everything's important. I want you to bear in mind, if you can only have 2 out of 10, what are those 2? What are the 2 that move you forward? What are the 80% that are just fluff and filler? And then ruthlessly decide which ones are the most important things and focus your attention there. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but I've still got to do all that stuff. Just stop and think before you automatically plow through them. What's the worst thing that would happen if I didn't do those other tasks? But also, what's the upside if I got my head down and I focused on those most important 20%? So I would love to hear from you. If you would comment in the comment below the feed to just say, if you've done it, what did you find? And what tasks are you going to take off your list as not being in the top 20%? I really hope you'll take up that challenge, because you've got to be prepared to take some action as we go through this. There is no point you being in the group, listening to stuff, learning stuff, and then going straight back to what you've got. Because you're here because you want to improve your profits, you want better cash flow, you want to improve what you earn, and you really want to build your life of financial freedom. The people who get financial freedom do not spend their time juggling all the balls and focusing on everything on their to-do list. They've got a ruthless focus on where they want to go, why they want it, and then they book their time in to make sure that stuff happens. So that's my challenge to you. Now, the next week or two, about the next few weeks, I'm going to be going through the 80-20 rule and exploring how it affects other parts of your business, just so you can really see the power of this pretty simple idea, really, and keep focusing on how you can improve your profitability. Next week, I will be talking about specifically the 80-20 rule in terms of your customer mix, and just show some examples of how I work with my clients to really honing in on how that one area alone can dramatically change the profitability and efficiency of your business as a whole. So I hope that's been useful. Have a great Friday and weekend, and I'll see you back in the group next week. Bye now.